Howdy, my name is Jason Kilar, and I am from University of North Carolina, and I'm still depressed about the fact that Tar Heels lost the Final Four last week, but I'm slowly getting over it. I wanted to talk to you about Hulu today. So this is Hulu. As I said, went live a little over a month ago on March 12th, and it has a very simple focus, and that focus is on the content. If you take a look at the layout of the site, you'll notice that as you go through it, and I'll take you through it here, that there's very little page types in terms of the design of the service. And that's by design. We had a couple of design principles that we wanted to adhere to before we even wrote a line of code. One of the first principles that we had was that no matter what, it has to not look like Tokyo at night. There's so many websites out there in this world that look like Tokyo at night. And by that I mean lots of flashing lights, lots of animation, and we felt that in a very crowded and cluttered world, that simplicity was important for this service. And so that was our first design principle. The second design principle was that given that our focus is on hit content, on premium content, nothing but the best content out there, that the design and the look and feel of the service had better match the quality level of the content itself. So if we've done our job right, we've done a lot of things to make sure that the site is aesthetically very pleasing. And then the third design principle that we had was that my mother had to be proficient on a service in 15 seconds or less without any help. And that was very important for us because technology is hard enough, and the great technology service providers do it in such a way that the technology isn't even noticed. It's that intuitive. And so that was a very important design principle that we had. The content is front and center. You just press play. You can lower the lights if you'd like to keep it even more focused on the content. When you mouse away from the actual screen, the tools go away, because when you're watching content, you don't need to have tools, and it looks staring you in the face. And so when you mouse over, they come back. And so you can do a number of really different things in terms of this content. And I'll just demonstrate a couple of them in the interest of time. You can find a lot of great information about what you're watching, who the guest stars are. You can imagine how much robust metadata exists for a lot of premium content, whether it be soundtracks, whether it be cast members, character names, cast members themselves, the plot summary, etc. And so the details is a very important thing, not just for this view, but also for search and browsing. Some of our most popular features thus far is the notion of sharing. And this is something that was very important to us from the very start, which is we felt that Hulu, in terms of its mission, it was very important. So if you go back to the mission of Hulu, which is to help people find and enjoy the world's premium content when, where, and how they want to, it was absolutely critical on day one for us not to just be focused on Hulu.com. Clearly, we have invested a lot in Hulu.com, and we will continue to do so, and it's getting tremendous traction in terms of the users. But that's not the only thing that we're investing in. We're also investing in other sites throughout the web to be able to take that content and actually put it in your MySpace profile or on Facebook or anywhere else. And in fact, to share some data with you, we've had content from Hulu embedded across the web over 105,000 times across over 12,000 websites. And those numbers, by the way, have doubled in just the last 4 weeks. And so a lot of people are coming to Hulu.com and enjoying the content, but they're also taking it with them. And I want to show you how people do that. And so with one click, you can add this to any of a number of the top sites here. And what you can do is you can either embed the entire episode or drag the little time bars here and just put in a portion. So if you're watching, for example, Late Night with Jay Leno, and you see something that's very funny in terms of an interview or a joke, you can actually embed just the joke that Jay said as opposed to the whole episode. Or if you're watching Heroes or Prison Break or Simpsons, again, you can embed the entire episode in your blog or just the moment that you thought was very interesting. And all you do is you just hit preview, and this previews that portion of the segment, and then you just one-click it and put it into wherever you like. In this case, we've actually made it one click away in terms of these sites here, but you can also do that on any website. And so again, why don't we just embed the last portion of this Benihana skit from Saturday Night Live. We're going to preview it. I'm going to say that's right. I'm going to copy to my clipboard. And to give you a sense of how this works, I'm going to go and show you another site that has actually done this, which is a gentleman that works at Hulu, a guy named Eugene Wei. And he's had a personal weblog for the past 8 years. It's like 25,000 people a month, so it's very funny that he's not only fantastic at delivering an incredible service, but also very good at actually running a blog. And so here's an example of his personal blog. And again, he's one of over 12,000 websites that have embedded content from Hulu. And what's interesting is that in this case, he's embedded some content with Conan O'Brien. And if you go down here further, he's also embedded a really fun segment from 30 Rock. And all you do is you press play. Advertising supports this content. So in this case, it's a short clip. And so we either do overlays on short clips if it's under a certain time amount, or if it's over a certain time amount, but not yet quite a full episode, we do a 15-second spot, as you just saw there for Chili's. And so and what's interesting is, so Eugene has done this, and this content now is finding an audience that would never have come to Hulu that day. And so what's interesting is that now 30 Rock is being introduced to the audience, 30,000 folks, that comes to Remains of the Day weblog. And so it's a very powerful model when you take a look at enabling users to take this content to the neighborhoods that they frequent in their daily web lives. And so, so we're very, very happy with this feature, and embedded content on a blog or in a social networking environment. You can also email. And so if I wanted to send this skit to my brother, for example, all I'd have to do is hit email, and then just send a message here at NAB, thought you'd like this. And then I just hit send, and again, I can either send the whole thing or just a clip. And so, and this is a very powerful thing, which is, great content has strong word of mouth. And I think it's a travesty if you don't provide the tools to amplify the effects of word of mouth. And this is an example of a tool that lets people act on the word of mouth or amplify the effect of word of mouth. And so it's exactly what we're finding in terms of our first month and also during the private beta testing period. And so, so we couldn't be happier about that.